What is up, party people? Welcome back to another video here. We're going to be talking about the Discipline Priest today because I started playing it. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit pessimistic because I felt like I was pigeonholed into playing one specific build of one specific way, but I've been, testing some stuff out and playing a bit of solo shuffle and actually liking it. The one class I actually like solo shuffle on, believe it or not, it's my favorite. I think it's the favorite bracket playing Disc so far. So we're gonna go over the stats real quick, the gearing, the tier, the builds, and then just a quick overview on how to play Disc Priest. All right. So when it comes to the gearing and the stats, there is some wiggle room. Generically, you're just gonna play Verse Mastery, okay? Verse Mastery. Nobody likes to hear that. Everybody hates Mastery. Every healer in the game hates Mastery. Everybody wants to play Haste, but you can't do it. So, but I'm actually playing quite a bit of Haste right now because of a different build that I'll get to in just a moment. And it is working so far, so I'm gonna stick with it for the time being. That said, I may change things down the road. We'll see how it's going, but I'll just kind of fill you in what I'm doing so far. So I'm personally right now in PvP combat, I'm at 11.4k haste, 13.7 verse, and then 10.4 mastery. I'm actually, after reading these stats again, I may actually recraft this piece here. Yeah. Maybe we craft a piece to mastery, but we'll save because we have to get the, we have to get the tier gear. I'm sorry, never mind. But so I'm actually a little bit more haste than mastery currently, and it's just because I literally can't play Disc without haste. I lose my mind, so I'm actually not playing that at the moment. But things have been going okay, so I'm gonna stick with it. But for the general population of Disc Priest, just play Verse Mastery. The haste that you have will probably just be the tier set. And then if you want to have one or two pieces, it's up to you, but for the most part, just Verse Mastery all the way. All right. As for the tier, I am going to experiment with the 4 set. We'll see how it goes. The stats are not favorable, so the 2-piece for sure you should go because the stats are fine, right? You have the chest is Haste Mastery, and then the shoulders are Haste Verse. So those are the 2 pieces I got first. After that, I'm going to end up picking up the helm for extra mastery, as well as the gloves for Verse crit. Okay, so I'm not going to take the legs. Legs are crit heavy, so that's why I don't want those. So we're going to pick up those. We'll see how the stats kind of show up after that, but that's kind of what I'm going for right now. If the stats are not, if the tier set doesn't seem that good, the damage from Mind Blast is awful. Mind Blast is absolutely pitiful as a spell, but if it's, I don't know if it's every tick of penance, but even so, the smites, that having a up to 45% buff, no, actually that would be cut in half. 45 puts half of 45. 22 and a half, right? Yeah. Percent increase on your shields is pretty nice. So I'll say with that, it's kind of nice to have. So I don't know exactly how that's gonna go, but my experimentation, no legs. All right, moving along. Enchants, dude, I don't know. Just pick a speed enchant. Pick the Council's Intellect. Pick a speed enchant. I don't have the best ones. I have some really bad ones because I didn't have the gold. On the weapon, you're gonna want authority, power, authority, something like that. Just look up, go to the thing and type in it's authority of fiery resolve, something like that. I think that's what it's called. But it's just like the fiery one that when you do damage, it procs the damage thing and it gives you main stat. That's what you're gonna want for Disc. When it comes to the embellishments, I'm going with Ascendance myself with the double down on the Nerubian. So this is a Nerubian where this one just doubles it. You can play the energy distribution device. Doesn't seem that it's that crazy. It's like 1 to 2%, maybe 3% if you're lucky on your healing. I'd rather just have the stats personally. It's 1700 stats, pretty much high. If it's a longer game, it's 100% uptime. It just switches the stats all the time. So this is the highest simming one in Mythic Plus. That's why I went with this one. All right. Legs, there's a leg enchant. I actually need to pick that up here. I need to make some gold again, man. Plains Runner, I'm just running this right now. It's the cheaper one. It doesn't really make a difference. For these, ideally, you're probably gonna want Cursed Mastery, or you can either go Cursed Mastery or just like the one that gives you like 330 or something like that. The Cursed Mastery, you lose some crit, but your crit doesn't matter, so you can do that. And that's it for so I don't have gems on this guy yet. I need to actually work on that, but for gems, I'm gonna get with the precog gem, obviously, and then I'm going to gem either Haste Mastery. I don't know which one. I'm gonna probably prioritize Mastery in the gems. So that's what we got going there. Moving along to the builds here. So I got a couple different builds. I got 4 different builds that I've been messing with in total. This is the one I've been playing the most though, so we'll start off with this one. I really like Void Weaver and I really dislike Oracle, so I was just trying to find something that would work out for me in terms of queuing Void Weaver, right? So this is what I've come up with so far. The priest tree here is really nothing special here. The one thing you obviously have to note is you have Phantom Reach. Please utilize this to your best ability. It's an extra 6 yards of range on all of your spells over anybody else. All right, so you're able to stay so far out of the fight and just do damage from so far away. This also, this is something I'm still trying to get used to, is the distance of fear. The distance of fear is it any further? I don't know if it is or not. I actually have to test that, but anyway, yeah, stay far away. The skill cap of a Disc Priest is about avoiding CC. It's not about how you heal. Okay, Disc Priest generically is not that hard to heal on, but the skill of it is just not getting CC'd ever. Okay. Coming into the discipline tree here, where you're going to be taking, this is pretty much all damage talents, except for, you know, the only thing I swapped out that would be full damage would be Abyss of Reverie for Borrowed Time. I wish I could play both. Honestly, maybe I should just experiment with just like a split or something like that. I really like having the haste. Is it worth 5% healing? I don't know. We'll keep it there for now. So, you know, not playing the short radiance. I do have, basically I have radiance for the proc. I don't really do it for healing per se. And then playing Mindbender, Twilight Equilibrium. You don't have to play Twilight Equilibrium. It is a little bit harder to manage, but basically what I use this for is for every penance. Okay, and then this is pretty much gonna buff, just because almost every spell you cast is Shadow as Wood Weaver. Every Purge of the Wicked is going to be 15% stronger, which is pretty cool. So it's like basically a 15% buff to Purge of the Wicked just by playing this talent on Void Weaver. All right, and yeah, that's kind of it on there. So, and then PvP talents, just gonna be probably, these are the cookie cutter. Well, let me talk about PvP talents later on, I guess. All right, going over to the shield build. Okay, so this is the super generic. Oh, I forgot to, am I playing? Oh, I was playing this one. I don't know which one is better. The leech is sometimes good. The leeches if you're taking damage, if they are higher health than you. Maybe I should rock that. This one is 3% magic damage reduction. I guess you can kind of switch that based on the comp you're versing a lot of magic damage. But okay, switching over here to the shield build. So shield build, this is just the ultimate generic. You don't really play this with Void Weaver. I would not recommend playing this with Void Weaver. You definitely could. Let me put lenience there because that's what you probably would be playing. Okay, so we're gonna change all this. This is just the ultimate generic healer, like super boring but good version of Disc Priest. Okay, you just play all the healing stuff, and you play Oracle. Kind of simple as that. I prefer the only talent you would ever really switch up. You could play Double Grip for sure, but the Premonition, either the empowered one or the short cooldown. I feel like the short cooldown one is typically better for, especially for playing Solo Shuffle, because the games are not long enough to really get the power of all three if you're playing with the longer duration one. So yeah, nothing's changed over here. You don't have to run MC. You could actually drop MC and go down here. I just prefer MC myself. There are some clutch moments where you can MC something low and stop a defensive or potentially kill them if they have a lot of dots on them. Okay, so just ultimate shield stuff here. Shield Shadow, this was a build I experimented with. It's okay. I was playing this and then I was like, you know what? I'm doing pretty well. Why don't I just drop the shields and just do more damage? And it was working. That's how I went to that damage build. But this one is kind of like a hybrid. So this would be if you wanted to play a more passive route with Void Weaver. Okay. The important thing is if you are going to play Mindbender with Void Weaver, you need to be able to cast. If you're in a lobby that you know you're getting trained, do not play Void Weaver, okay? It's not going to work. If I ever get in a four melee lobby where I'm getting trained, I'm not going to play this damage build. I'm going to probably switch to the shield build, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you cannot cast as Void Weaver, you're not going to have a good time. All right, so that's just something to keep note of. And I would probably play this, honestly, with this one. 10% shadow. When you're playing Void Weaver with Mindbender, you have so many shadow spells, like almost everything is shadow. All right, and then the last build here, this is I call it a tank build. Okay, this build is just if I'm getting trained and there's just I have no room to breathe to do anything. Okay, so it's gonna be Oracle. I just swapped up a couple talents here. I dropped Phantom Reach, dropped MC, don't need that stuff. I just picked up the extra tankiness stuff. So Light's Inspiration. I picked up Diseases spell because most likely it's a DK doing this. So I have that on there. And then on this side here, just the generic shield build once again, just everything instant cast, just as much healing as possible. All right, so because this does come in handy quite often if you get like those 4 melee Solo Shuffle lobbies and they're just training you every single game. You're just having these 2 talents here does make you quite a bit tankier, so it's kind of nice there. All right, so those are all the builds. when it comes to the PvP talents, for the most part, I don't change them. There are niche cases where I don't feel like I'm ever gonna get hit. So I prefer Inner Light and Shadow because of how I play. You definitely don't need to play Inner Shadow. You play it for Atonement, and if you're playing Void Weaver, you're probably playing for Atonement. So that's why I'm playing it, but you certainly could swap this out for Archangel for more healing. If you are versing a Aflock, always play Catharsis. It is so powerful. Or just if you're getting trained, play Catharsis. It could be such a powerful tool with Atonement, and I'm pretty sure it's affected by all the Shadow stuff, like all the Shadow modifiers from Shadow Covenant and Abyssal Reverie and whatnot. So if you do find yourself in a game that you're not going to get CC'd and you're just sitting in the back, you can swap this out for quite a few things. You can go for Mind Games if you want. I should try out Mind Games again with playing all the Shadow spells because it is buffed by Void Weaver. But otherwise, you know, you can play Dark Arc, you can play regular Arc. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of other... Strain the Soul is okay if you're playing like that shield build against all the melee. This might not be a bad option for that build that I was telling you getting trained on. That might not be a bad option there. These are kind of... I can't believe Trinity is still not updated. It's actually ridiculous. But yeah, so the generic build, and you can kind of switch those up as you'd like. So that's all the builds and whatnot. So let me just go quickly into just how do you play Disc, okay? So the shield build, if you're just playing the shield stuff, it's so simple, man. All right, so basically you're gonna keep up Atonement. You apply Atonement with Power Word Shield, Renew, or Flash Heal, or Radiance. The Radiance Atonement is a little bit shorter. So if I shield this guy, he gets Atonement on him, and then I do damage, okay? So you don't need to be crazy on damage, but please utilize Atonement. This is the bare minimum you have to do. You do not have to be a guy sitting there spamming Smite. This is the absolute bare minimum, okay? Watch this. I shield my targets, I Atonement my team right there, renew a shield, I put up the dot, and I spread the dot. That is the bare minimum, all you gotta do. It's basically like putting up rejuves. Think about that if you're playing like a druid. It's just a passive hot that you're always gonna have up. Okay, so just at a bare minimum, that's what you should be doing, okay? Yes, you can throw, you know, if you are playing Dark Indulgence and Schism and stuff, like, all right, that was level 1, most basic. The second most, Purge the Wicked, Purge the Wicked first, then Mind Blast, and then spread that Penance. Okay, now you're gonna have a little Schism action going. Ooh, more damage. That's scary, scary. Okay, so that is the most easiest way, and then besides that, just press shield on cooldown, and then if you need press shield on cooldown, press penance on cooldown. Always prefer to do it offensively unless you absolutely need to, especially depending on the build. If you are playing the shield build, you can defensive penance more, but if you are playing the offensive build, you're going to get better benefit from using penance offensively, so use them offensively because the Atonement's going to heal everybody versus just one target. All right, and then that's it. Flash heal if necessary. That's it. Okay? Pretty simple. I'm going to add in the damage. All right. Yeah, let me add in the damage part of it. So if you do want to play this build, which I would imagine you probably are more interested in if you are watching my videos, is so what I'm basically doing most of the game. So I have my Atonements up. Okay, I got my Purge of the Wicked up. I'm going to be Void Wrathing on cooldown, Mind Blast into Purge of the Wicked because I need to alternate for Twilight Equilibrium. Get a really big Dark Reprimand. I like to throw in Deaths on cooldown. Deaths are very underestimated, man. So you have this thing called Devour Magic, which buffs your death by an extra 400k. It's a little bit less, obviously, in PvP. But if you use it into something with a shield on it, one, you're getting a little bit of mana, but the healing off of these deaths are really nice. Like surprisingly, like you see chunks. Okay, so obviously be careful if you are versing like mages or priests or locks, something that you need death to work on a fear. So, and on that note, you can, if you press Shadow or Death before a fear, a poly, a trap, blind, any of that kind of stuff, you will immune yourself out of that CC. All right, so that is the generic opener here. So let me just do it one more time. You don't even need to have, I usually don't even pre-purge the Wicked, so like right off the bat, I'll PI. I'll make sure I have my shield up there for that guy. Okay, Void Wrath, Mind Blast into Purge of the Wicked, into Big Penance, into Death, and then from there, I'm gonna try to start spamming those Void Blasts up until the next thing's up. So I'm gonna Purge the Wicked again, and then Dark Reprimand, so each Penance becomes 15% stronger. And that's kind of the gist of it all. All right, and then you're just spamming healing otherwise, or spamming damage otherwise. Okay, and then you should have Mind Blast back up. In between the Void Wrath goes, it's just going to be Mind Blast Independence. You don't have to worry about throwing in an extra Purge of the Wicked because of Twilight Equilibrium. But like I said, don't underestimate Death, especially in those Void Wrath windows with Shadow Covenant. Okay, So, you know, pressing everything on cooldown. If you do have enough chance to free cast, that's why I was really emphasizing Phantom Reach. You want to stay out of the fight and get as much casting off as possible. The more smites you cast, or Void Blast, the more uptime you're going to have of Void Wrath, which is the more damage and the more healing you do. It's just a snowballing effect. Okay, Void Wrath does an insane amount of damage. Let me just show you a little quick breakdown of a... here, this was a solo shuffle I was just playing. Look at Void Wrath, okay? This was a... oh, jeez, come on, man. This is a 3-minute game. Void Wrath is insane. It does so much damage. If you're able to free cast and have the eye uptime, I was experimenting with Expiation. Please never play that talent. It's awful. So actually, maybe that wasn't the best idea to show, because yeah, this is another one here. Yeah, this is a little better. Void Wrath, you get your Rifts, your Reprimands, all that kind of jazz. So yeah, it's feeling good. If you are doing this in the way that I was playing it, pretty much your breakdown's gonna look like this. I'm pretty sure most of you have never seen atonement breakdowns like this, but it's kind of what I'm working with. It's working so far. I'm gonna stick with it. Again, this is just an option for y'all to try out if you are interested. Alrighty, I think I covered the basics on it. I didn't want to go too crazy. I don't like making these videos too long. I want to keep it short and sweet because people don't want to watch super long videos. Anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions down below about this priest, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.